everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from today. Today is March 29th, 2022, foul year of our Lord. In today's episode, we're going to break down the recent pump in Bitcoin's price action, as well as the other cryptocurrencies, which happen to be following Bitcoin across the board. We're going to be looking at our technical indicators to determine exactly where we are in the market cycle. Are we actually breaking out of the consolidation that we've been having and the accumulation? What is the narrative for the market to move higher? What is the narrative for the market to actually reverse and move lower? We're going to talk about the overall chart patterns, the kind of historicity of Bitcoin's price action, as well as give you hopefully some actionable ideas. Remember, when you come to the markets, it's interesting. Okay, developing your own strategy is the best way to understand and predict what could possibly happen in the future, and to have repeatable, actionable results, right? To have data on a piece of paper or in your spreadsheet that you can build off of and have some success. So we're going to try to give you guys some pointers, some tips and hints. We're going to go over some trades that we've recently taken in the premium trading group, and hopefully look for a path forward. So anyways, either way, it's going to be a good show, guys. So let me know how you guys are doing in the chat. Let me know if you guys have any chart requests. We're going to be breaking those down as well. We're going to keep the stream short today, and we are going to be attempting to return to a regular setting. I've been doing a lot of programming and stuff in the background. But I know you guys like the streams. And also, so the last video that I made that was a pre-record was how to find 100x altcoins, the ultimate guide to getting in early. That video has done very well. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go check it out. It's probably going to pop up as a recommended video after this stream. But in that video, I went over some tools and strategies, and they actually, I got a lot of good reception on that video. So I'm going to be making a follow-up video to that on some additional strategies that I utilize, and particularly a deeper dive into some of the tools and resources that I utilized in that video. So definitely look forward to that. And yeah, all right, let's get into the chart. Let's get into the charts and start breaking everything down, guys. Let's do it. All right, so here we are on the daily time frame. Good to see you guys in the chat. I've got Dan Verelst. We've got Mr. Ether, Robert Warner. Good to see you, my friend. Jonah loves the snow. Texas Blues. All right, let's break this. We're going to start off as we normally do. Actually, stay here, and we're going to go to BTC USD. Start off as we normally do on Bitstamp. We're going to start with our top-down analysis. So I want to start with the monthly chart and just kind of see where we are. We've talked about this before. We'll take the baseline off of there for now. So just note that Bitcoin has retraced on the monthly time frame after reaching our new all-time high here in the month of October. Actually, excuse me, the actual all-time high was in November. We did retrace, holding the 21 monthly exponential moving average, and we are currently bouncing and trading above both the 8 and the 13. So relatively good. We haven't seen a significant monthly turnover. We typically don't. If we really zoom out here, and let's see, let's turn the log chart on. That'll help us out more. We really haven't seen any significant monthly turnovers. And typically when we do see moving average crossovers, keep in mind that moving average crossovers are always going to happen after the move has already begun. And so we've talked about this a lot. Moving average crossovers can be quite useful in cryptocurrency because they're one of the few asset classes that trade with sufficient volatility that once you get a moving average cross, there actually is still legs left in the trade. There's still movement left in the charts. For traditional assets like commodities or stocks or Forex, usually, trading moving average crossovers is a very unsuccessful strategy because those assets trade with such intermittent volatility, or generally lower volatility, significantly lower volatility than cryptocurrency, of course, that once the moving average crossover occurs, it's actually usually best to counter trade them. And I've made multiple videos, and if you go back in the streams, you'll see all the analysis that I've done for you guys on moving average crossovers, particularly death crosses and golden crosses in cryptocurrency, and how they're just so intermittent that they're hard to trade across. But the point that I want to get is that we don't really see any significant deviations. What I mean by that is that we don't see the faster moving averages here, like the 8, the 13, the 21, crossing underneath like the 55, or now we have the 100 monthly exponential moving average. We don't really see that because Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies, like Ethereum, for example, the good ones, not the medium cap, not the small caps, not your shit coins, but your large caps, your blue chips. If you just zoom out, it's nothing but continued sustained growth onwards and upwards, very similar to the S&P 500. And so this is kind of the basis. This is the technical basis anyways for the narrative that investing in Bitcoin is a good idea, that the best time to invest was yesterday, the second best time is today. And that the concept here is time in the markets. The longer that you're in the market, the more you get to reap the rewards of something that over time appreciates in price versus timing the market, which is what you're going to be doing for short-term gains or to build your portfolio or to build your account if you're beginning out with a smaller amount of capital. All right. I do want to kind of point out, this is interesting though, when we do see those moving average crossovers, even here on the monthly time frame. So here we see the 8 cross under the 13. There is still a little bit of leg left in the trade. And then when we see the 8 cross underneath the 21, that pretty much signals the bottom. So again, while you can use moving average crossovers, they're actually not a bad strategy on the lower time frames. We don't really see any big deviations from this bullish trajectory moving forward. And even still, even on this big picture time frame on the monthly, we don't really see that deviation at all. We see Bitcoin correct down to the 21 and we've popped back up. Now, again, losing the 21 monthly exponential moving average. Let's just see here. Every time we've done that on the monthly time frame, this will also make a little bit more sense when we go to the weekly. Every time we do end up trading below that monthly 21, you see that we do retrace down to the monthly 55, right? So if we were to trade underneath, and this is this is just in line with what I've been saying about how Bitcoin has this pattern of retracing down to the weekly 200 simple moving average, which is almost in lockstep with the monthly 55. Monthly 55 actually a little bit higher. But if we do trade below that 21 exponential moving average, then we will almost certainly, if Bitcoin repeats the price that it always has, we'll end up trading down here at the $24,000, $25,000 level at least. Now, this all makes a little bit more sense when we go to the weekly. Also, I just wanted to point this out. Let's go look at that buy signal. That's fantastic. So time transformation buy signal back here on February 2019. Very powerful signal. And look where the monthly sell signal came in at. Monthly sell signal came in on May 2021. So if you guys are premium members, you have access to the time transformation indicator. You guys can see just this absolute nailing of the bottom and the top here on the macro. So very important to pay attention to. Also, if we can see here, Bitcoin crossing the 0 line on time transformation, which is our trend initiation signal. And that occurs, the last time that occurred was back here on April 20, which led to this massive run right here. We also get the exact same signal from Minx right here. Let's zoom in so you guys can see that. We get the exact same signal right here from Minx. We actually get it a little bit earlier. We get it 1 month earlier on time transformation there. But either way, those did lead to this massive beautiful movement. We did get that cross under signal. Again, time transformation is faster here. We do get the sell signal here in May, and we get it 1 month later with Minx being a little bit slower. Now, pay attention to this. This is interesting. Look at Minx right here, and look at time transformation as well. Look at how they have both crossed. Again, time transformation a month early. Time transformation has already crossed below the 0 line on the monthly time frame, and Minx is flirting at doing this cross under right there. Keep in mind that is going to be that bearish initiation signal if we do get that monthly close just like that. However, if we look at Wadatar explosion, we do not see that rising volatility, nor do we see those red deltas trading above our explosion level right here. And the explosion level is tapering down, indicating that we're going to have lowered volatility and possibly remain in this large range that Bitcoin has remained in between 30 and 60,000 moving forward until we get a more explosive movement. Now, going down to the weekly time frame. All right, zoom in on this a little bit. Again, same thing, just not to beat a dead horse, but I've talked about this before over and over again. Bitcoin has this very specific pattern of how it corrects when it corrects on the weekly time frame. What we will see Bitcoin do is after it reaches a cycle high, we correct down to the 55 weekly exponential moving average, we bounce, we correct down to the 100 weekly exponential moving average, we bounce, and then we ultimately correct down to the 200 weekly simple moving average before we actually put in a cycle bottom. And if we look at what Bitcoin has done now, we can see that we reached a cycle high. We corrected down to the 55 weekly exponential moving average. We bounced, actually put in a swing failure pattern by making a slightly higher high. Excuse me, not a swing failure pattern, a fake out pattern here by just trading directly above our previous all-time high before rejecting. Now we've corrected down to the 100 weekly exponential moving average. We are currently bouncing. And I expect that once we reach the high on this, whether it's going to be in this area of interest in the $50,000 range, or if we actually go push for a new high, if we end up correcting from there. Well, let me rephrase that. If we actually break above that $50,000 area and look like we're going to push for a new all-time high, we have to be careful because the market can reverse at any time. All right. Bitcoin's price action is heavily manipulated. Because it's unregulated, there's just so much uncertainties. And in trading, just in general, there's no such thing as sure things, guys. So let me get my, I've lost my drawing tool here. There we go. Okay. But let's say we do a swing failure pattern where we fail to make a higher high and we correct from here, then I would ultimately expect us to end up down here at the 200 weekly exponential moving average, which would be around $25,000. And that is right there in line. If you guys will recall, going back to the monthly, that's exactly where that monthly 55 exponential moving average is as well, right in that $25,000 range. So the bottom for Bitcoin's price continues to move up. Now, keep in mind, just because people are calling for 20,000 or 15,000 doesn't mean that that's not possible. Just because that weekly or monthly exponential moving average is going to indicate probably the closing basis bottom of Bitcoin's price if we do correct down there. We need to take a look at these wicks, right? Of course, this was the March meltdown when BitMEX melted down and the auto liquidate and the liquidation engine just basically ravaged everybody that was long. But you know, again, look at these wicks. We can, just because the bottom necessarily is at the moving average doesn't mean that on a weekly basis or a daily basis, the price is not going to trade significantly lower than that, even though we close back up at that level and respect that level on the monthly or weekly time frame. So be aware of that. You know, set and why. So practical reasons to be aware of that. If you set your bids, let's say like you want to set some stank bids down at like 25,000. Well, you're probably, but depending on your exchange, right, you're probably better off setting them a little bit lower and not using leverage. You don't want to be setting bottom bids for Bitcoin utilizing leverage because just the intraday volatility can easily push you to your liquidation level. It's too dangerous. So spot buys, good. Leveraged buys, not so good. Okay. So let's get off the monthly, back down to the weekly, continuing our analysis here. What do we see here? Okay, a couple interesting things. We do actually have Wadatar Explosion trading above the Delta line right here, which is good to see. That's kind of our first initiation here. We do have a time transformation and, let me get my drawing tool here. We do have a time transformation and a Minx crossover. Again, time transformation 1 week early. So those buy signals would have came in right on this weekly candle right here. Now, of course, we had already opened. If you guys, we'll go ahead and hold on a second. There we go. Okay, of course, Google makes me sign in at least 17 times a day. Just 1 second, guys, so I can pull up my... Okay, there we go. As you guys will notice, I still have my BTC USDT long opened, or BTC USD long. This is my spot long, as I've talked about before. We still have the weekly positions open. We're currently up. Let's just zoom over there. 22% on that trade. We're also long on Aave, which we're currently up about 40% on right now. I did take a very large position on Aave right here, about 5% of my portfolio, and that trade is doing really well. And we just closed out. Let's see, what do we have? Cardano and Tezos. We had two really good trades on, kind of a shaky beginning to the week, a couple day trades in here that didn't do too well. But you know, our daily PTP strategy, just bangers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great trades this month. And really happy with that. So getting back into the swing here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Take a brief moment and look over here at the chat. Let's see here. Now clocks have changed so I can make the lives. Hope everybody, hey, thanks. Good to see you, brother. Texas Blues wants us to take a look at some take profits on MATIC, long from $1.50. You're doing well then here, man. Boris Friedman, what's up, Justin? Thoughts on a Luna all-time high breakout trade pending today's close? You know, we want to be a little careful with taking breakout all-time high trades, especially on dailies, but we'll take a look at the chart. It kind of depends on how today closes. Tell you what, Bitcoin maximalists are getting dope-pilled right now, though. Do Kwon is crushing it, dude. I hope, you know, I wonder who's going to win the bet between him and Kobe. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. All right. Okay, everything's good here. Okay, yeah, sorry. Lost my train of thought there. So On the weekly time frame, we did close above the weekly 21 exponential moving average. We also closed, not yet, we're almost there. We're almost above that weekly baseline, guys. Almost above that weekly baseline. So if you're kind of looking for that trend initiation signal, we're just not quite there yet. Weekly baseline, the Donchian 26 still sitting right here. Now we are currently trading above it, but we do need this weekly to close. We do need this weekly to close above it. Let's see here. We're running out of time. I got to keep the stream short, guys. So I've only got about 20 more minutes on the stream. So I'm going to try and run through this as quickly as possible. We do have time transformation, again, trading above that zero line. Minx is not quite there yet. And again, we do have that positive delta, but not with rising. So I don't see a trendy initiation. Weekly signal. This is not a trending long signal. Of course, you're free to take positions. It's going to depend on exactly what your strategy and what your system is. But you want to be careful here, and we can see that. Let's go down to the daily. Daily here is just pretty classic. We are now trading above the daily 200 simple moving average right here. We've got all our moving averages aimed up. We see the 55 daily is starting to rise up as well. So we do got some good signals there. And you can interpret this one of two ways, right? We've got this nice bullish candle right here, and then we've got two kind of slow wicks. So we do have this area of resistance that we're just unable to really get across. Let's get rid of this right here. We did, of course, trade above these two previous levels of resistance right here. And so one of two things, you can interpret this, this is why calling tops and bottoms is silly, because you can really look at this two ways. What's up, Seth Gottfried? Good to see you, man. There's really two ways to interpret this. One is that this is a great sign of strength, right? And that Bitcoin is still stair-stepping up, and that stair steps up before it puts in a massive green candle. And while that is true, the other way to interpret this as well, especially if we look at the fact that we're getting overbought on our oscillators right here and just trading above resistance, is that Bitcoin's not able to make any progress, right? And so I know a lot of traders have flipped short, and this is a dangerous area for retail traders as well, because again, we've broken out. You're going to have a lot of longs piling in here to take Bitcoin up higher. They're talking 60,000, 52,000. Of course, this area of interest above these previous highs. Let's take these EMAs off right here, this area of interest right here. And more importantly too, like look at this large candle right here. This is important. This is a very high volume candle. So a lot of volume came in on this candle. So there's a lot of traders there in that area. And so price wants to return to that area right there. So that area, that big candle right there, we've talked about this like points of control, is just right in line with that area of liquidity interest right here. So again, I think the narrative is there, of course, to take Bitcoin's price up here to the $52,000 area, $50,000 being a psychological area. And this is exactly what we could see before this push. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and hold my weekly longs, but as far as establishing a position here, it's always safer. Your EV is always going to be safer. Typically, if you wait for pullbacks, right? So if you were looking for a pullback, where do you want to look for that pullback? Well, probably a pullback back to the 200 exponential moving average right here, 44,827. So looking for something like that before getting long, even if you miss the movement over a lifetime of trading, just waiting for that actual pullback to an area of support is always in the long run going to give you more, right? Going to give you more. Alex81SG says that resistance is the 200-day moving average. That is a tough cookie. It is a tough cookie. What do you mean? You mean the 200? This is the 200 daily simple moving average. Do you mean the 200 daily, like the EMA should be? Oh, okay, sorry. No. That was the EMA. Oh, yeah, you're right. I apologize. I had that set to the EMA. It shouldn't have been. It should have been set to the simple moving average. I always use the 200 simple moving average. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah. So same thing. 200 simple moving average acting as resistance. Interesting. Okay. The principle's still the same, right? The principle's still the same. The 200 EMA is also important. The 200 EMA is below price. So even if you wanted to take price long, waiting for that pullback to the 200 EMA makes sense to me. Thank you for fixing my, thank you for making me take a look at that. Okay. All right, let's take the EMAs off there for a little bit, and let's talk about PTP, which is the way that I trade, is my personal strategy. So we're going to be utilizing Minx, Wadatar explosion, the rising explosion level, and you can see here that it just nailed it, right? We've had bips and bobs in here, choppy area of the market, which has been fantastic for day traders, but for swing traders like us, not so much movement, not so much not great, just a bunch of whipsaw, right? Some of the algos getting chopped up in this area, but it seems like we are moving out of that right now. So we closed above the Donchian 26 right here, nothing but green days. all good. We got the buy signal from Minx right on this candle right here. And on that very same candle, we also had that rising explosion level. So we could have absolutely, you could have absolutely been long on this candle right here, the 18th of March. Let's actually go back in time and see what our targets, kind of what our trade and risk positions would have been there. So we'll turn on Quadriga, it's our stop and target system. And it would have had us taking profits at 44, 46, and 48. So let's go mark those out real quick. 46, 48, or sorry, 44, 46, and 48 essentially, with a stop down here at 38. All right. Remember, large positions and tight stops are the root of all evil. Okay. Wider stops, smaller positions, that is the root of all progress in trading. All right, guys. I cannot tell you how many traders that I've met and mentored who have over leveraged their accounts, who have taken too large positions because they read some story about the Shiba Inu guy who turned 5,000 into 5 million, and they want that to be them. And they want to do it with leverage, and that's not the way to do it, right? If you want to turn 5,000 into 5 million, you gotta go to DeFi, right? You need to build an investment portfolio, right? And even then, it's likely not going to happen to you. What you can do is consistently and patiently over a long period of time, grow your capital and actually make good money in this space. You can make a lot of money trading this space. You can earn enough to maintain your daily existence. You can earn enough to provide well for your family. And it's a lot of fun. And you know, if you take your profits and roll them over into investments, if you study, if you build a portfolio, then that is what you're banking on, right? And you can do it. I mean, you absolutely can. You can do. There's lots of ways to construct good portfolios, right? You know, I like to keep my portfolios relatively small. You know, too much is a little too much to manage, right? If you've got 15, 20, 30 coins in your portfolio, like how can you possibly stay on top of all that, right? That's basically the spray and pray methodology, which we've talked about that before. Venture capital funds tend to invest that way, right? They will invest in 100 projects, knowing that 90 to 95 of them are going to fail. And they're just looking for that 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 that are actually going to do really, really well, right? But you know, for the average individual, it just depends. Like if you're all in on crypto, then that's a little bit more difficult to do, right? So one of the best ways to be able to boost your ability to invest in your portfolio is to either A, have more disposable income, which means working more, or picking up a side hustle, or becoming profitable at trading, which allows you to, you know, allow your money to work for you and roll more money into your investment portfolio as well. We're going to continue on in time here, and obviously we have hit TP1 on that BTC original long position, TP2, and have we hit TP3 yet? No, we have not. 48, 128, and we're look up about $300 shy of that TP3. So if you guys took the PTP signal, whatever your system is, but if you got long on this breakout in this area right here, then you should be about 30 to 50% out of your trade. Move that stop loss to break even right about here, and either wait for a reversal baseline bounce pullback right here, like I talked about with the 200 exponential moving average. It's basically right here at the daily baseline as well. So looking at that $43,000 area for a pullback, and yeah. Now we can see that our indicators, our oscillators have not rolled over yet, although we are in overbought territory on both Minx and time transformation, seeing these purple dots of death. And of course, Minx being in the overbought territory as well. So we want to be cautious again about putting on these big long positions. Sometimes they work out. So if we do get a huge big daily breakout, that's totally fine. As I said, I am holding my weekly long position. We established those positions right here quite a while ago, if you guys are in the premium trading group. So all well there. So there's nothing wrong with holding on to Bitcoin. And if you're wondering like, oh, is it a good time to buy Bitcoin as a long-term investment? It's always a good time to do that. Just do it reasonably and responsibly. Zybernet, it's good to see you, my friend. Am I trading the ruble? I am not actively trading Forex right now. No, I am not. But, you know, that's... once in a while, those big fundamental trades will come along, right? Those big fundamental trades will come along, and they're cool to be a part of and participate in when they come along. All right. Okay, we've got 10 minutes left, guys. 10 minutes left. You know, let's. So first off, we're gonna go to the big chart. Okay, so we're gonna switch over here to the big chart. Because for some reason you guys like it when my face is big on the screen. I don't know. That's what the analytics say. Let's scroll down here a little bit more on Bitcoin. Here on the 6 hour, we're starting to see a little bit more granularity. we can see that we are starting to get sell signals from time transformation right up here on the top. We haven't broken support at 47,231 yet. So let's actually take that off and get our EMAs back on there. So we haven't breached any of our EMAs yet. We're still seeing them all move up, which is good. This is bullish. And so a retrace here and continued movement to the upside, it does seem to be more likely. And again, Wadatar explosion downstepping here, telling us to be exiting our long positions that we established either here or here. Minx in overbought territory as well and crossed under. So this is a good indicator right here. Minx on the 6 hour. We could wait for this cross back up, right? Wait for that cross back up and then look to take the trade back to the upside. Down on the 4 hour time frame, again, holding support. 4 hour just came back down and tested that 8 period exponential moving average. We still see the oscillators rolling over here on the 4 hour time frame here as well. Down on the 45-minute time frame, again, we are starting to see a little bit more. Here's that retest of previous lows. Here we have it right here. We're testing the 45-minute 55 exponential moving average right here. Time transformation looks like it started. It's nowhere close being overbought or oversold. Excuse me, it's not oversold yet. So not a fantastic opportunity here on the 45. What we actually could be seeing here is another retest of the lows, come up here and retest previous support, which just got broken down, and then further downside movement, which would coincide with a little bit of a turnover here on the daily. And if we go down to the 5-minute time frame, let's actually get rid of all of this noise. Actually, for the 5-minute, we do want the VWAP double bounce strategy right here. What do we got going on the VWAP? Yeah, on the 5-minute time frame right here, it does look like we're going to get some downside here because we have all this. Why is this white? Should be black. We do have all this regular bearish divergence as price is moving up, and we can just see the QQE mod on the 5-minute just turned bearish, and we also got that 5-minute wave trend oscillator turn. So not looking fantastic. We had some good VWAP double bounce trades here. Look at price coming below the second deviation here once, bouncing nicely, coming down here, trading below the second deviation again and bouncing nicely. So I've talked about the VWAP double bounce strategy. I do need to make a video about it, but pretty easy. And again, we can just see here, look, these for the day traders out there, I mean, VWAP is just money. VWAP with, and this is the VWAP double bounce strategy tester. I've also got the regular indicator right here, and I will be publishing this. I do need to publish it, so I apologize, guys, but it's just money. You just put 2 VWAPs on your chart. Just put 2 VWAPs on your chart, QQE mod, and wait for price to trade above. Right there's the actual signal for this strategy, and take that short when price trades above the upper 2 standard deviations of the VWAP, and you see bearish divergence right here, which we do right here. So price makes a higher high and a higher low, take it to the downside. We've got regular bullish divergence, price moves up. Bearish divergence, price moves down after we go above the second deviation of the VWAP. I mean, this is just, it's printing money, guys. Here we go again. Look at that, bearish divergence, higher high, higher low. Trading above the second deviation there, and down we go. Money printer, guys. Here we go. Look, we got bearish divergence, higher high, higher low. What's price do? Price moves down. All right, here we go. No real good bullish divergence here. Actually, no, that is bullish divergence. So here we have low in price. No, it's not a higher low on the oscillator. I apologize. We did have bullish divergence here, but we didn't really get a bounce. We had a second fake out, but trading below the second standard deviation of the VWAP. Here it is again. Price moves up. Easy money, guys. Packing my weight. Good to see you, my friend. Tricks are good. Tricks are always good. And they're not just for kids. Or they're not just for kids. All right, 5 minutes left. Let's take a look at requests. I did see MATIC from Texas Blues. Always happy to oblige. MATIC USDT. Oh, I got, by the way, you guys can't really see. Let's actually, here, I'll show you guys. Obviously, changes to the studio here. I do have my ultra wide Samsung Galaxy or Samsung Odyssey G9 over here now. And then I have kind of my streaming setup right here. So 2 monitors here and 1 monitor here that I'm actually doing the charting on, and then I can monitor OBS and the statistics from the live stream right here. I got this right here has been with me for a long time. This is the clickety clackety keyboard, and I like it for working. But for you guys, because it just kind of, I did end up getting the Corsair wireless RGB right here for the stream. It's very quiet, so hopefully you guys aren't put off by the clickety clackities now. Yeah. So let's MATIC USDT. So our friend Texas Blues got long at the $1.50. Got long at the dollar. Why did it disappear? What's going on there? Oh, because we're on the 5-minute time frame. All right, so let's let's go over to the big chart. All right, so here we are on MATIC. Let's just start with the top-down analysis here real quick. Obviously, MATIC having good times. Listen, wait. Big pumps on the monthly time frame. Like, we haven't really done anything, man. Like, MATIC overall from an investment standpoint is still looking relatively good. We do have bearish, so we do have bearish divergence right here. We do have regular bearish divergence that just confirmed on the previous monthly candle. And we also had on that, just on the last month, we had the sell signal from Wada Tar explosion. So monthly Wada Tar would have had you long right here. As you guys can see, there's the buy signal, up, and down, right? So you would have bought MATIC here for about 0.044. And I mean, you would have done a 3x, right? So cool, awesome, sweet stuff. Let's get rid of all that stuff. Regular bearish divergence on the monthly time frame, which I would want to, so that leads me to be bearishly inclined here. You know, this looks like distribution. You know, big price move up. Sellers need to distribute before they can move down. I think that confirmation would come if we breach the 21 monthly exponential moving average at about $1.114. So I wouldn't really be looking to take MATIC to the upside here. I have been wrong before, and anything can change, right? Like if we end up breaking above right here and we get expanding volatility and Wada starts moving up and we get a cross back to the upside, well, then that indicates that this was not distribution. The regular bearish divergence is not going to play out, and this was reaccumulation, which is absolutely possible. And we go on another massive tear here on MATIC. Weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is interesting. We just had a weekly buy signal on time transformation. What do y'all know about that? What do you know about that? Which kind of makes me think, Now, listen, every time we get a weekly buy signal on time transformation doesn't mean that it's the macro bottom. It just means it's the pico bottom usually, and we do get a little bit of upside movement. But we are bouncing off of that weekly 55 exponential moving average and now trading above the 8, the 13, the 21. Let's see if we can sustain this upwards movement, guys. That is cool to see. That is cool to see. Weekly buy signal. Look at that. Let's see what the rest of our indicators are doing. Minx is about to roll up. We can see that. Look at that. Look at that. We can see the decreasing bearish delta on Wada Tar explosion. Not a buy signal. Wada is not a reversal indicator, but it is a trend indicator. So we can see that the bearish steam seems to be running out here, especially if we can continue upwards here. So we want to be careful about rejecting from here. This is resistance. We want to be careful from rejecting and trading right back into the range. To see if that's likely, let's go look at the daily time frame. Daily time frame, just like Bitcoin, coming up to that resistance at the 200 daily exponential moving average. So we might want to look for, let's go back, let's see where our baseline is at, and get rid of our EMAs here. So again, a very nice, clean PTP trade right here. Let's see, we break above the baseline here. There's the buy signal from time transformation. The buy signal from Minx comes in a little bit later right here with that signal from Wada Tar explosion. So right here, getting you in on this candle and letting you ride up. So we'd be expecting pullbacks here to about the $1.56 area, maybe wicks lower, but a little bit below the baseline. We are putting in now 2 reverse hammer candles, which again is not great to see. But we're seeing the same thing for Bitcoin. So, you know, it is kind of looking likely like a little bit of a pullback here over the next couple days on most of our crypto assets, especially if Bitcoin does that as well. If Bitcoin pulls back and does end up correcting from the 200 daily exponential moving average. But ideally, I'd like to see it, again, most of these things come back to support and then push up for another leg higher, because all the, you know, everything else looks really good here, especially in conjunction kind of with that weekly buy signal here on MATIC. So that's actually good to see. That is cool to see here. Get rid of that baseline and Go back down to the daily. Let's get a little bit more granular and just see what we can see. Yeah, 6 hours, 6 hour oscillators have already rolled over and are pulling down. 4 hour oscillator as well. We got the sell signal right here. We're actually getting a 4 hour bottom feeder signal, which is calling for a push back up, a retest of the high. So that's an idea. Not really the trade I favor, to be honest with you, though. I would, never. What do we say, guys? We say never take a signal by itself, right? Always look for confluence. Always look for multiple things. All right, it is 12:30. I got to get out of here. So what was TPs? Sorry. So you were looking at TPs, MATIC, TPs. We want an idea, TPs. All right. So looking at where we entered the trade, where we would have entered the trade, about Chura. I think actually one candle ahead. Yeah. There we go. So let's pull up Quadriga, and Quadriga, let's get rid of that bottom here. Quadriga would be telling us that we want to be targeting $1.64, $1.73, and $1.82 on the daily time frame. All right, now the weekly, if we look at the weekly targets and we go back to last week, I'll give you this to you real quick. We want to replay and we want to go back to that weekly, the weekly buy signal. The weekly is telling you $1.90, my friend, 234 and 278 for a retest of that all-time high. So I think that $1.90 is easily in the cards. That's where I would set that. I would easily use that as my first TP there. That's going to be a 31% increase in price. So definitely be targeting that. I think that probably makes the most sense here on the weekly time frame. And then just watch here on the daily to see if we actually reject, to see if we fail here. What happens if we close back down below our baseline? Let's get it out of replay mode. So we want to be cautious of that. So about $1.54. $1.54 is about the $1.54 is where our baseline's at, and that's also a good that would establish a good retest of support that was previous resistance after this breakout right here. So I think MATIC looks good, man, especially with that weekly buy signal. Let's just see what the rest of the market does, because remember, guys, this thing can turn over at any time, and they can send price down as low as they want. They can continue to pump price as high as they want. We've got Tether, we've got Binance. It is what it is, guys. Welcome to crypto, man. So that was for you, my friend, Texas Blues. Sorry that I cannot stay longer. I will be back tomorrow. And let's actually go here to the DSLR. All right. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update, albeit a brief market update. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not already, if you're over on YouTube, or give us a follow or a sub if you're on Twitch or Trovo or Twitter or whatever you're doing. If you're on Twitter, highly appreciate it if you retweet. Either the announcement tweet or the just the tweet of the video, because you can't watch the show on Twitter. So anyways, we'll be back. By the way, guys, things are doing well in the group. If you guys like the indicators, if you guys are new to the show, if you guys want access to the stuff, our premium indicator suite, our buy and sell alerts, community mentoring sessions, which we will be having this week, guys. So everything's good. Then you guys can check out everything that we have. Links are in the description down below, or visit premium.krakencryptocurrency.com, bybit.krakencryptocurrency to trade on the exchange of our choice. We will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 1 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboard. Make sure to join the Discord at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. Like and sub, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for being awesome, and trade safely.